A very warm good morning to one and all present here. Design can be art, design can be aesthetic. Design is so simple, that's why it's so complicated. I would like to extend my warmest welcome to each and everyone to today's session on Turn Product into Real Products. It's a great honor to welcome our resource person, Mr. Lazim Aslam, to today's session. He did his Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry from Kannur University and now founder and CEO at Printartica. Once again, we wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to start today's event. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Vaishnavi, and greetings to everyone who's present and everyone who is watching this video afterwards. So, product design is more and so is a buzzing thing for last couple of years. From turning into more into UX design, people are start to questioning the existence of every products that out there the accessibility level or even the design on exterior or the experience that it provides. So whenever a product is in the idea phase itself, people started to question how it will be in the output level, so that every each perspective of that product have to be fit in the user's hand. So comparing a product development phase or even a service, people started to think on top of the functional level, is that to provide a better experience over better uh, deliverance. It's like, even though functions are the core pillars or the core vital points, the design or experience tend to give more importance to the user base. So product design plays there. When Advait contacted to deliver a brief on turning ideas into products, I told him to rename it as turning products into real products, as in products. If you'll browse or if you'll seek anything, any service or products in Amazon or as in Google, you'll tend to see 1,000 or 10,000 or more than 100,000 brands delivering the same product. Maybe you'll be heard of 5 or 10 brands, and there are rarely you could see a 15 or 20 plus recognizable names. So, however, we are connected to some products in some level unknowingly. So the product have delivered us more than the product have to do. It's like we'll vouch in for that product whenever a friend or a teammate or colleague asks for a particular gear or a particular clothing or something, will tend to chip in for that. Oh yeah, I know that brand, I know that product, so it will be good in that sense. And that person, that user, tend to be more like an advertiser for us. So like product have something inside it more than its functionality. Like, what we have to do is to understand how an idea from that ideation state to deliver a better product through multiple stages. It's like very simple, but we have to consider it in a way that the pre-production must be uh, very accurate or time consuming, that we could do deliver better product in its initial days in itself. So once again, welcome to Ingress Hackathon, and I hope you guys will make better products out of this hackathon and in future. So we'll be starting with what really is product design. It's the result provided by Google, as in what design. Product design as a verb is to create a new product to be sold by a business to its customers. A very broad coefficient and effective generation and development of ideas through a process that leads to new products. Thus, it is a major aspect of new product development. That new is very catchy here because it happened to be a business is sold to its customer the product. It's a very broad coefficient and effective generation developments of ideas through a process. It's like development of ideas through a process which have to be effective in its output, which leads to which leads to the major output that company seeks to from every product. So product development leads every idea or every render of the company to each and every particular product they have been delivering or they're planning to deliver in the future to be precise as they hope to. So product development plays an integral role uh, to every each product that you are seeing these days, and you'll as sure you'll be seeing in future. So the normal flow to build a product or an as a service uh, back in initial days of product development itself similarly look like this. So start from the ideation. Team will tend to think about how it could be, the functions could be, how it will be presented as in what's the color of the stuff, what's the shape of the stuff, what's how it will present it to audience, like what are the features they will be looking into, and kind of things. Like ideation phase must take on like 10 to 15 percentage of the process, and we'll land into some kind of assumptions or solutions that will start the production from nowhere. Then the production will be like a puzzle pieces, like we'll be building things we are assured of, and some things maybe some things are not sure, but we will build. The production level will be goes on like 30 to 40 percentage of the process, and we'll release the beta version of whether it will work or it is a function we know it's function deficient or anything. And the version 1 release with an approximate version, like it'll work, but we'll work on it, but we are not itself sure about what we are delivering. We know the idea we're delivering, but we are not sure it'll be user friendly, or it'll deliver better experience, or is it necessary to use this anything. So back in 2 years, we landed to a better flow, like ideation, as we discussed, is to is more precisely to how much screens do we need to deliver the experience, um, how to show this, how to show maps, how to show search, how to uh, draw the flow of a user. And from that ideation part, we'll take down some notes, and we'll go into a new and better form of creating a better flow is to draw wireframes. Wireframes is just a paper-based, paper and pen-based, or you could do in tools like Balsamic or so, to draw screens of your app as like home page, or if this will be like home page, like there will be a search bar here, there will be a image viewer here, or there will be taskbar here, anything. It's like a paper drawing. It's a very rough drawing, and you'll set that papers and downside. You'll iterate. It's like you have to get out the maximum from the ideation phase to wireframe phase, that you can discuss with your team that this is what actually we have been looking forward to build. And the iteration phase must be involved in the maximized outputs of the ideation state, so that we can build on top of it. So make sure you will draw, and you will put in the maximized points that you will be found out from ideation phase. So after a couple of iterations, you can go to prototyping phase, Prototyping is connecting these wireframes. It's like will when you click search, it will go to this page. When you press image, it will expand like this. When you order something, it shows like this. If the order cancels, it shows like this. And you have to connect. It's all in paper, or it's like a very rough drawing, uh, whichever tool you're comfortable with. So drawing paper is the most recommended method in this flow. So use a pen or paper and just draw it, and make sure that it fits like a computer mobile phone screen if you're looking for a mobile app, or it's desktop app. Make a layout and put that thing in this in it. So after a couple of iterations on the prototyping phase, do hi-fi prototyping, high fidelity prototyping. The initial prototyping we have done is called as low fidelity prototyping. It's like as I said earlier, it's not about the clarity or the visual effect or visual thing on how it looks. It's about putting down the idea basically. So when we're going onwards for high fidelity prototyping, it's it's creating more on details, creating better design, creating better clarity on what we are actually looking to build. It's like adding more visual elements like buttons, like how the button will be, like how what's the size of the button, or what's the size of the image viewer, how what's the approximate sizes of the text that we are showing, what's the if it's a hardware product, what the handle size will look like, what's the piece that we holding look like, what's the display port will look like. It's like creating more an idea of actual renderization. It's not actual renderization, but creating an idea on the sizes, the accurate positionings, like it's like more like any just prior phase to actual production output. So make sure that high fidelity prototype includes your idea of presenting the product better. So after these things, you land at a phase where you put your maximum on presenting a thing, whether it will be an app or service or a hardware product or a mix of both. High fidelity prototyping will give an idea on how to build the stuff exactly. Uh, yeah, I know this will look like this. This have to look like this. It's from the ideation phase itself. We have decided to look. We have decided how to look this product, how to hold this product, how to click this thing, how to order something, anything. So after encapsulating these ideas, you'll pass on to production. So when the production goes on, the developers or the builders or the engineers know that okay, this is the thing that this team is going to build, or yeah, how it will be look like, how they believe it to be functioning as, how it have to deliver the experience or something. So it is more of an accurate method. So when we moved on to a bit of release, it is it is a 80 to 90 percentage of what it have to believed to be work on from ideation to wireframing to prototyping, high fidelity prototyping, everything. So it it is a funnel that makes sure what we have believed or what we have thought of to build to get into this pipeline. So that is all about better flow. And when we are moving to even better flow, it's like um, an year thing or an year and a half. These models tend to give more results than the earlier ones. So it's ideation. We already discussed what it is, and prototyping also, low fidelity prototyping specifically. Then test. So after doing the prototyping phase, you tend to ask people on ask teammates or ask potential users, bring them the drawings that you have drawn and share your ideas on how this will look like, how your product will look like, how it will help them in future, or how it will deliver a better experience than the existing ones or anything. Ask them and create a questionnaire, like what you will experience, what you wish to experience in a product like this, what services are you lacking now, like make some or 10 or 15 questions and ask to any potential user your service or app or hardware might have to. So then answering those questions from their hand and or your colleague's hand, get an idea of what should be the output. It's like building for the user, by your idea, from your team, but for the users. So creating questions and getting answers from them from the prototyping phase itself gives an idea on how to twist and turn the existing idea and existing layout of the product in very itself. So having on that side, most of the users tend to give answers like, yeah, it's good, what we have to, yeah, it's good, it'll be good when I could see it after the beta level, or it might be good, or they don't usually give accurate answers. Some of them are really not giving you accurate answers. So make sure your question is precise, as you have to get answers from, um, ask them, if I put this button here, over here, to deliver a food, uh, you'll be happy. That's a yes or no question. Then ask them, if you swipe like this, this thing will came up and you could do XYZ. Is that good? Or how it could be better? Or it's a hardware product. It could be hold like this and you could walk like this. And is it give you a better experience? It's like ask precise questions like a yes or no question or point answer question, objective answers question. So you will get a good enough answer. Oh, please put some effort on that, making a questionnaire. So after getting enough question answers, go back to prototyping and do some more iterations. Like from the question answers, reviewing those question answers, analyzing those, makes more iterations, and go again to test and Q&A, and ask the very same person and a few more new person to how the iterations look like, how the previous version look like, what's the difference, or so. Go back and forth good enough time, I'll say 2 or 3 times, and make sure you'll get in a position where your intentions, your ideas, your thoughts of the product and the user products kind of balance. You'll never find a balance. You most unlikely to find a balance. So kind of balance, though, then forward to production. So when the production happens, the team know what the company wants, what the company in design looking forward to, what the user wants, so that they can build a better experience on top of that. So the balance should reflect on production. If it have to reflect on that level, we have to prepare the materials, the concepts, the input before the production happens. So after the product phase, do a test internally, so that ask team members in different domains or different stacks in the company itself, on every function, every major functions, or like, okay, we're delivering food, so these are the flow, and this is how can deliver, how can order a food. This is or in other case, this is how our store look like. The It's the path where a customer came in, and this is where he can buy the stuff, and he can go over this stuff to bill, and he can get out of the store. This is the flow, or um, this is how the captions look like. This is how the buttons look like. This is how the search works. So discuss with the team, the internal team, not the external, the user or the user base or something. Internal team, do an A/B testing on how the functions will deliver. Like if that's a search, make multiple cases that A search will works like this, B search will works like another way, C it's like search can be shown like this, but if you click on that, it will shows up like this, and work XYZ like so. Take multiple cases and do a testing on top of that. So vote could be used, or like use cases on each function. Each cases can be noted down, like a member like an operations wing or a marketing wing or the sales wing person will came in and look at the production. It's not even beta, it's like production level output, and says this we have three cases which you will be like to support, and he'll say the B or the C or the A option looks good, we can go for it. Or then and only you will get an understanding of what exactly you have to build or what you have built, and what you have to do in order to land in a position where the team supports and creates a mm, more of a group thing or a team thing to build this very app or very service. You have to get an idea of the whole team, whole section, whole compartment of people to get land into the same idea of delivering the product or service or experience. You have to value their contributions from this stage. I'm particularly saying from this stage, because after the beta level, you have to get internal feedbacks, uh, less important than the external feedbacks. So we are more looking into the user base itself. So it is the level, it is the better flow, even better flow, I would say, to deliver an app, because this is more like very practical oriented, not more time consuming, but more efficient method than the previous ones. So do this thing, but set time for everything. It's like when you do an ideation phase, set time like I'm referring to this hackathon. If this is 24-hour hackathon, it's like seems like 48 hours hackathon. We'll present like we'll spend 3 hours or 4 hours on ideation. We have to put down some things. We have to think about how this works, how it could work, how we have to present, which market we have to present, which way we have to build this thing, everything. And spend even less time on prototyping, like put down that idea as rough as possible, as it's like we have to get an understanding, that's it. No need to detail on the visual stuff, and go for the test, the question answers thing, and go back and forth. So prototyping test QA will takes a couple of times. So when a team or a chunk of team working on prototyping works or putting down that thing, some members of the team can work on the Q&A part. So for the hackathon stuff, you could make the time more efficient. So when production, which needs more time, which needs more uh, man hours, then I mean human hours, then we have to go more. We have to put more time on production, and the A/B testing part comes the last. The output kind of needs more work on how the changes on the app or the service should on the last phase. So the production guys can change it if it's minor changes, can changes them there itself. If it's a major change, you can change it after a couple of betas or the version one itself. So that's the flow thing, and we can go forward to finding a niche. Then, mm, who are the users? We have to ask who are the users. Maybe it's all like when you ask of Amazon, are the users? Is there an answer? I'd say infants are users. They are not customers. So in case of users, the Amazon, like, I mean, there are some products that have no specific category, but they have tailored the product in a way that every user groups looks or feels better when they're looking forward the service they're looking forward to. So then we have to find our niche for the product or service we have building. So you have to find in a way that if you will building for all people, what they exactly looking forward to. The youth may be the users, the kids may be the users, but set that apart. Find your major audience, like the old ones. In this particular example case, if that's the old persons people, then look forward to make the bigger text, the more contrasting colors. Like, you have to get their idea, get their attention to every detail. So make it minimal, make it large, so they can actually use it. If it's a hardware product, make it handy, make it more accessible than other user segments like youth or kids, something. So likewise, when you fold into youth section, if you're building for youth, make sure what kind of apps they have been already using. Like, when you accept the case of olds, you think kids are already in the phase of technological changes or things. So they have been into more tools and more things before using your product or service. So find their interests based on the kind of or the genre of the topic or area you are building for. What are the previous breakthrough apps or breakthrough services that been already there? So finding their interest and finding their likings of how the similar kind of products worked on earlier, will get an idea of what their tastes will be like. You don't have to build exactly like that product or service, but you'll get an idea of, okay, this might work, this might not work, this could be worked. So that's for the youths. And coming to kids, you'll know the 20 to 25 percentage of every market. So, like, if that complaints of kids uh, is on the kids, it's equally important as youth and old. More people are not so much invested into kids products, or kids are major user base or customer base, but it is a major customer base, and we had to look forward to it also, because we have everyone have a child inside. Everyone like kids most often. Yeah, I think. Then, so kids are major youth, a major cross section, and they have to use better products, like they so that they can make their experience better, so it'll reflect on top of everything. So delivering better products to kids is a kind of more social contribution, I'd say. So I'd recommend you to look forward to those segments. Then on to the next top of next under the funnel, you'll see, like, if that's an old or youth person, what might be the profession, like, well, how knowledgeable they are, how accurate they are, how they could understand the terms you are using on your service or apps, or how how their understanding of a product, how to use them, and things like that. So their region, their profession, kind of things like that, you have to consider on the second level. And coming on to next age segment, if that's old, there are a couple of more holes. It's like 45 to 50. It's all no, no, it's all. It's like 55 to 60, or 60 to 70. It's old. But 80 to 90, it's like very old. Yeah, it's like we could segregate them in different levels. If we consider youth, we'll consider 15 to 18, 20 as teen age, but a couple of 18 plus is kind of considered as youth, but 18 plus to 40 is considered as actually youth. So you can build a product particularly focusing on age 30 to 40, as in the youth section. So consider an age segment of like span of 15 or 20 years or 10 years to get an idea of exactly what the user base look like, so you could do a better research on their likings and things like that. Anyway, and at last, very important section on the initial is to understand spoon feeding. I would say like you have to roll on a spoon and feed them. It's not like that. It's particularly like how exactly do we need to simplify this app? How exactly do we need to complicate this thing? How exactly we have to deliver the product, the service to our niche? So understanding the level of simplifying the solution might not be the solution to all things you have uh, looking for to build. It's some users tend to believe complex things or complex structures are better for security or things like that. But understanding the niche, you have to understand the level of spoon feeding or the simplifying the product or service that you have to build, so that you could deliver better outputs or products to that niche. Uh, and rolling on to next, ideate and articulate. It's like you we are already discussed what ideation and ideate is. So from the ideation level, you have to articulate things like you'll think about thousand stuff on or a couple of hundred stuff on do how it will be like this, how it will be like that, and you'll deliver in a 15 to 20 functions, a function rich app, which we might not need, or uh, we're not looking forward to stuff like that. Maybe the user don't need that much functions in a very one app or service. So don't put total stuff you found out ideation level to the next level. So we have to depend on the articulation phase. So from the ideation level, you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize. Actually, you need to put down the ideas and stuff, or the outputs of the ideation level. So in the articulation level, you could land on things like find top five functions. Uh, what are the one in order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What's the top function of this app? What's the second best? What the third best? If that's less than five, it's also okay. But if that comprises of multiple functions, you have to list it and prioritize in functions like this is the top function. This is what the user is using this app particularly for, or we believe they will use particularly for. So what's the next? So prioritize them, and on the next level, what are the necessary organs? It's like we need these components, we need these sections to join so it will work. So we need in case of humans, we need a heart, a brain, lungs, and a couple of stuff to work. It's necessary organs. So in case of an app that complains of food ordering, it needs some maybe it must need GPS service. It's like we have to find what are the necessary organs to build this stuff. So finding those stuff will help you build the production, or build the uh, help the building phase you, and make it more smoother. And finding initial market nature is more important, because where you'll be releasing your app, or what are the what's the basic nature of the market you are looking forward to, kind of stuff will get an idea of finding your niche, thus helping the product to design and articulate better. So these are the things you need to prioritize, and from the ideation part to articulation part, it's like filtering the ideation outputs of the ideation phase, and making it more precise that we could use that result for. Yeah. The sorry, there are a couple of types of designs. We could you The first one is system design, second one is process design, and third is interface design. System design is an information architecture driven flow to build a design. It's like you have five texts to show in a screen. So you have, I'd say, an example of Instagram. So if you have to show in home feed, you have to show the person who have posted the image. So that will be that's a text content. And in the very next line, you have to show the place or they have put down. It's like, if we are saying in case it's Kochi, Kerala, or it's Delhi, India, or it's Ontario, Canada. It's whatever it is, you have to show the location. And in very next phase, you have the image box, and or the video view or anything. So how what's the size the image viewer will be like. And in the next line, you'll see how much likes I've got, and how much shares, and how and the people from you following like those or not. And we could go to the captions and comments and things like that. So there are a lot of text content from that very view. But every text has an importance level, that you could read those stuff without intimidating, or without getting confused. You could read the text heading, or the caption, or whatever the text there. So it is a hierarchy based distribution of text content. So when you're putting multiple contents on a screen, or a product, or a service, anything, make it tidy, make it arrange it hierarchically, that everything gets enough attention. So you could deliver the stuff you built it. So it's like, when you're not aware, or when you're not much into the information architecture driven system design, you'll tend to put down everything there and here, but the user won't understand what they have been looking for, and they'll get confused, and there are high chances of they'll get switched to another app or another service, because the user is looking for a thing, and we have to deliver uh, xyz. So the user could clip into this hooked into this very app or service, or product. So information architecture driven system design will get the look more tidy, more clear, more accurate. So the function could work like the flow, like A, B, C, D, E, F, which we have decided, not like B, C, D, E, which we have not decided. It's not the way which it have to work. So we need to kind of work on information architecture driven system design. It's like designing the system in a way that every function gets its necessary attention, or the functional the functional attention that it need to be uh, get. So on to next, process design. Process design is like when you are swiping an app. Yeah, we are swiping, or we are clicking, or we are holding, or we are pushing anything. So when we do that, what sense it is giving to us? It's like when you push something, uh, it'll get a pressure on that stuff and our body, so that we understand we are using some kind of force. When you're picking something, it's like we're selecting something, so it gets an idea of what the flow should look like. So when a person enters into an app, he knows, he clicks a couple of buttons, he look for some things, and he swipe for a long time. It's anything, but we are delivering an experience based on a flow that we have decided. So if we have to change his display picture in a particular app, you have to go to the settings section, you have to click on the edit profile, and edit on the photos, and change, select from the gallery and change it. So there is a flow to deliver that experience. But if I have to go from settings to home, there is single button. You have to click that, you're directly into feed. If you are using a product, you have to fold it, or you have to off it. There is a single button. You have to click off, and it's off. You have to click on, it's on. You have to increase volume, it's press increase volume. So we have delivering an experience based on a flow that it feels seamless, or it's necessarily no, it necessarily don't have to feel seamless. If the case is so, for example, if you try to delete our account in a particular app, we tend to see that that's a tough part. We couldn't find where to delete our profile, or delete our uh, user, because the app is structured in a way to make it more difficult, so that user won't lose, the customer won't lose the app. So it is based on your design to make the flow seamless, or glittery, or anything, but make the UI clearer and the flow better to make that process seamless. So I think you guys got an idea of what process design, which we should be flow and UI driven. And coming to the last part, interface design. Uh, Anything that a human eye can see is an interface, is a screen. No, anything that a human, or a user, or a customer could touch, feel, sense this, yeah, sense is the accurate word, is considered as an interface. So if I'm holding something, it gives a sense of holding, it gives some sort of force, that the holding part, if it's a handle, the handle should feel like I'm holding something. It's seamless, it's good to hold this. If I'm seeing a button over there, and I'm seeing that, okay, this is cool, I can get it from my hand. I could do click like this, before, without moving my full hand. I can only use my thumb to switch back and forth. So designing the interface will make the experience a lot better than the other stuff. You could, that's why I wrote UX driven interface design. User experience is the articulation of the data you have about the user, and what you have to build, or what you're building, and getting into a point where user understands what they're getting, and how they have to use it, or how they have to refer it, how they should play with it. So design the interface based on the user experience, which contributes to flow, which should be built on top of the information architecture. So it is the connecting part, it's the connecting points that we have listed here. So the system design, the process design, the interface design, it's like system design is the fundamental stuff, and to process design is to design the way, the seamless, the smoothness, this flow. And on top of that, the interface design, which have to compliance of the total UX of that app. Okay, I think it's clear. Then we should move to the nature of user groups. So when we are looking to build for a particular user group, we have to understand a couple of things like viability. It's not about economic viability of the app or the team that building. Does this app really need to feel like this? Think about the user group to convert the app in a way that it is viable for them, using the materials differently, using the placement of the app differently, like uh, uh, okay, in a hardware part you're using a metal which costs more, which delivers better experience, but won't be used by the users because it's too expensive. Think of it's like use a cheaper metal which may not be as good as the original ones, but will deliver a better experience for a few time. It's like few duration. The first one may lead long to 20-25 years, but this one only lasts 5 years or 5 years or so. But if you make build that, that's viable for the users. They could buy that, they could use that. So make sure the viability to the user, particularly for the user groups that you have been targeting. So that's the viability part and the accessibility part. So as I said earlier, if you're building for a kid, kid can't hold heavy hardware materials. Kid can't understand the complex app architecture, or kids can't deliver multiple function apps, multiple function, multiple buttons, multiple flow. It's like, don't make it complicated over the user group. If you're targeting a user group, it should be as earlier, as simpler, as smoother, as clearer to them, so they could use it or experience it in a way that you believe so. So the recommendation cycle is the most important thing of all. Like, if a kid use this, and if he likes, he have to urge to another person, another kid, or another schoolmate, or anyone. Or if a youth used it, he have to share with it friends, like, oh, hey bro, I've used this, and this looks good, and you should use it because it delivers XYZ. You can share it, you can swing with it, you can play videos with it, you can talk to your friends with it, anything. The recommendation cycle is very important. So finding the user group and finding reasons to recommend this product is very important. So make sure the product have recommendable features, that the recommendation cycle works itself. So the user needs to use it, and in a way that it affects every user. So if the recommendation cycle have to work, you have to understand most out of the user group. So if you're building for a person in the youth segment, you have to understand a 8 out of 10 you youth on that particular market or particular region, so it is recommendable. It's not a case of a single youth, or it's not an issue of a single person or a dual person. If the recommendation cycle should work, there should be a large audience. So, like, I think you got the idea. Yeah. And question question the service in a sentence. Okay. If a person asks, what's the product, what are you building, or what's the stuff that you're building, yeah, you have to answer in a sentence or a two sentence max. So this is what we are building. It's like a complete sentence, two sentence, that's it. So you have to be so clear about what you're building. That's the first thing. And second thing, how does it work? if the potential user base, if you're building for kid, a kid comes to you. My favorite is to ask to get a question from the kid, so we could answer as simple as possible. So a kid came to us and asked, "How does it work? How does it work?" So uh, we need to get the answer so that a kid, which maybe the potential user, could understand how does this thing work. So that's that's that question. Then who benefits it from? Maybe it's not only the kid, maybe it's not only a parent, maybe it's not only a young person, uh, maybe it's not only the doctors or engineers or anyone. Maybe it's not a particular diseased person or an ill person. It's not like that. Who all are the beneficiaries of this product or this service? Make sure you'll find an answer to these. Also, then why would someone use it? This is very important. It's like the fundamental question. If you're delivering the very app to this user and the user asks you back, why would someone use it? You have to answer in a way that the service in a sentence is the answer. So it's a cycle. Why would someone use it? Explain your service in one or two sentences. So make sure it is kind of a super answer. It's like a sentence or two sentences, getting an idea of and validation of the user to use that. So why would someone use it? You have to use it because so and so. Finding these answer are very important. So you will get an encapsulated idea of what is you're going to build or what you're building or what you're delivering to that users or the user base, and ask these questions internally to every team member and find those answers, find those brief answers, and put that in every phase of your production will make the mission clearer and your build so sure that your thought process, your idea is not diluted so much. So think about that while building your product or service. That's all, and that gives a brief on what is the stuff, and you'll get an idea of the stuffs I shared, and I'll share the deck this uh, deck with the organizers that you could use or share or get an idea or go through revise anytime you want. And over to organizers.
Thank you, Lazim, for joining us. It was a great session overall. We hope we got a really great idea regarding product design and what are the things or the aspects that we need to think about before designing a product. I hope this would be really helpful for the participants during their hackathon when they are building their products. Yeah, once again, really great to have you here. So, can we take some questions if there are any questions from the chat? So, I hope there are no more questions from the participant side. So, uh, we can wind up the session. It was really great to have you here,
Okay.
Lucy. Thank you. Yeah, you can share your
Thank you,
solutions.
thank you, thank you on and all. And it's like I'm Lazim, and these are some stuff about me, and you can contact me at hi@lazim.co. That's my mail, and my Instagram or Twitter. I'll be very happy to answer and discuss your thoughts about your product or your design stuff. And thanks once again to the organizers, and wish every team to build great products. And looking forward to meet you guys. Thank you.